Hello again. Today I want to talk about some MCU announcements that came up last week. The first announcement was about the next Shang-Chi movie. And according to the headline, Shang-Chi will lead a team of Asiatic superheroes. Um, the next announcement is one that was made about Steven Yeun. And he's from The Walking Dead. Probably recognize him from that TV show. Anyway, he's been cast to play apparently a key role in the upcoming Thunderbolts movie. No one knows which character he's going to play, or if there'll be any linkage between both films. I just find it kind of curious that these announcements came out pretty much simultaneously. And I don't think these films have started filming just yet either. Anyway, there's some people in my Discord, one of my Discord groups. They're starting to focus their collecting and speculation efforts on the Agents of Atlas. Specifically, they're focusing on Swordmaster. Right, so Swordmaster, I think Lin Lie, the Swordmaster. I think he makes a lot of sense because he has some linkage to Shang-Chi, and he was actually trained by him in martial arts in the comics. Now, I never read the Swordmaster series because I just wasn't drawn to the character. So there's a YouTuber named Firebird the Nerd, and he's already covered the Swordmaster comics on his YouTube late last week. So what I'd like to do is just try and give some background on Lin Lie, and then just focus on why I think he's, I guess, a good speculation pick. Anyway, he makes his first appearance on the cover of War of the Realms: New Agents of Atlas #1, and he's on the left side of the book there. But it's only a cover appearance, and he's not in the interiors. Now, for this issue, there are quite a few variants out there, and I think even this book only, the fact that he's only on the cover it's okay, but collectors and speculators will gravitate usually to the first quote unquote first full appearance, and so that kind of takes away a little bit from this issue. But it's still a good issue because there's quite a few characters that are introduced. But he actually makes his first in-story debut in issue #2. Now I didn't pick that up. It just wasn't available at the comic shop, and I wasn't good at pre-ordering then, and I missed out. And so after that is when he goes on to headline his own 12-issue series. But I didn't pick those comics up, and I may have missed out. So from that 12-issue series, the latter issues are supposedly low printed, and I already go for a premium. But a short while later after that, something else happened, and that was in this White Fox, Death of Doctor Strange, White Fox #1. I'm tracking these three covers. So this the cover A, the cover B with him on the cover, and then there's the Momoko variant. These are the three issues. I haven't read them. They actually came in the mail today. But in this issue, this is where he breaks his sword, and that's where it ties into the Iron Fist mantle. So, but before we go any further on that, I think it's key to note that Danny Rand, the former Iron Fist, loses his powers in the Heart of a Dragon mini. More specifically, at the very end of issue 6, he basically gives up his powers to save the world. Now, based on some of the chatter in my Discord groups, it's not common knowledge. People were drawn to issue 5 for a minute, and it was going for a few bucks because people thought that Pei was gonna Pei, who was introduced in the previous miniseries. So issue 5 did pick up for a minute, but she didn't get to keep the power, and so the powers went back into an egg, and Xiaolo was to be reborn again. Anyway, now I mentioned in my unboxing video how I felt that Danny Rand's send off as the Iron Fist was poorly executed, and I still feel that way. So anyway, fast forward to Iron Fist #1, and this is the issue where Lin Lie shows up as a new Iron Fist, but he doesn't have the powers of the Iron Fist yet. In the first few pages of the comic, there's a panel that shows Xiaolo the Undying saving him. All right, but he gives him a little bit of his chi. However, again, for the entirety of the rest of the mini, he's basically relying on the shards in his hands to give him, I guess, his power. But he's technically not the Iron Fist yet. Now, there are a couple of covers for this. There's a cover A, which to me is probably the best. There's a 1 in 50 ratio variant, I believe, which is an homage to Spider-Man #50. Now, I don't particularly go for that cover because it's really Danny Rand walking away from his old Iron Fist uniform. But what gave this issue #1 away a bit when all the previews is you can see the shards. Now, I don't own it, but you can see the shards on the cover of the sword. So people rightly assumed that Lin Lie was going to be the new Iron Fist. Anyway, there's also a second printing that's still in stock in some stores, and I'm tracking at least one store exclusive from, I believe, the Comic Mint. All right, so when this miniseries ended, it was only solicited as a 5-issue miniseries, but when issue #5 came up, it was to be continued, and it was to be continued in this comic here, the Iron Fist. It was part of the Judgment Day event, and so I wasn't tracking at all. I had to go back to my comic book shop and dig this out. I was actually already in the bargain bins. But anyway, there's two covers. There's the cover A, which looks a little bit splashy. You got the dragon. You got him who looks like cutting through it, and then there's the cover B, which is an homage to Frank Miller's Wolverine #1. Now, I think this book will be a key someday, because this book is actually where Xiaolo gives Lin Lie the power of the Iron Fist. And so, in my opinion, I think that his transformation as Iron Fist into the Iron Fist will become more important over time than his first appearance of as the Swordmaster. Basically, because I just feel that he's going to carry on as Iron Fist for the rest of his comic book history, and I don't think he'll ever go back to being the Swordmaster. And I also don't believe that Danny Rand will ever be the Iron Fist again. So all that just to say that I think that Iron Fist #1 and the Judgment Day one-shot are pretty affordable, and even 9.8s of the Iron Fist #1 are very, very cheap. And I picked up a few extra copies. I plan on getting a few extra copies graded and just leaving them in my personal back issue bins for the next 5 years or more. Yeah, I'm into the cheap specs, and that's my recommendation. That's it for now. Later.